trip today, I think that will suit him well. He looks fairly straightforward from the fact you can ride him from the front, and he bowls along and jumps really nicely.
Interesting, Ben is actually 2 from 2 on him. The claims dropped for Ben from 7 to 5, but got plenty of experience under his belt and clearly got some well with his horse and has been back so well ahead of that mark of 117 once again. I know pre-show you liked Jericho-Ville third in at 13 to 2.
Yeah, he's won twice, been second in the last 3 runs. The last time at Plumpton, he looked the winner, didn't look the winner, and then was the winner. He was the last off the bridle. He kicked away from them turning in. You thought, right, all he's got to do is jump the hurdles and he's home. And all he did was just make it look really quite hard work. But he's not won by very far. I think he likes to keep a little bit up his sleeve for himself.
Yeah, his 2 wins. He's only actually gone up £5. Has Jericho-Ville and Jamie Moore riding for Chris Gordon. A rare trip outside of Sussex for Jericho-Ville. Normally runs at Lingfield and Plumpton. Of the others, Ballymagroti Boy has been very consistent this campaign. You just worry a horse like the Nichols runners, just that unexposed nature means he's probably vulnerable again, but certainly one for each way punters.
Yeah, he's been really consistent without particularly winning. From his 19 hurdle starts, he's won once, he's had 5 seconds and 4 thirds. He always runs his race.
Speaking to Joe Tizard after their earlier winner, so said I perhaps probably needed to run at Chepstow last time, but will certainly come on for that 3 weeks ago, and it's strong enough in the market there at 9 to 1.
Yeah, absolutely. She's won over course and distance, and that was one of her 3 wins in the 21-22 season. She made her reappearance after a long break. That was 379 days break before Chepstow, and although she was well beaten, she will definitely be fitter for that.
Yeah, certainly. So, Biowave Go, he makes his return after an absence. He might just need it. I hope Radentop runs better for Chris Down. He certainly likes Exeter last season anyway, and he won here back in January, but it's been hard work the last twice. Hopefully a return to the Devon venue will see him in a better light. Runners heading on to the track. Looks like Jamie Moore will be dropping out Jericho-Ville, and much closer to the pace today, Ayopi Kalonge under Ben Bromley. Let's go and join Richard Torres for the penultimate race of the day.
Thank you, James. Yep, runners midway down the back straight. And they'll turn and face the starter. As I mentioned regularly this afternoon, it's when they turn they'll really face the full brunt of the weather. Quick return to winter here. Hopefully it's only temporary. And flag is raised here. So flag raised, runners turning towards the starter. 10 of them for this. Thank you, Jennifer. Rabbit Slattery handicap hurdle. And they're coming a little bit quick here. Starter's asking them to slow. I don't think he's going to let them go. They're right on top of the tapes. They're approaching too swiftly. Normally they wave the flag to signify it is actually a false start as opposed to them having a second go, but it's so windy you can't actually tell whether they're waving it or it's just blowing in the breeze. But let's have take 2. A little bit of a turn closer to the tape. This time we're happy and this time we go. So away they head. Jericho-Ville, one of the first to show, towards the inside in blue and yellow, towards the outside, the yellow sleeve jacket of Miss Fairfax. Ayopi Kalonge, prominent as well, with Bally Disco as they rise at the first. Come on Gruff is also in that little cluster as well. So Jericho-Ville, Biowave Go, Radden Top, Ayopi Kalonge, Bally Disco, Miss Fairfax and Come On Gruff, just about 7 deep as they head towards flight number 2. The grey is So Said I, who along with Ballymagroti Boy and Snipe are the 3 that have just settled behind the leaders. And they've all taken flight number 2 safely. On the inside running rail, Jericho-Ville has a narrow lead. Biowave Go, reading out, we have Radden Top in black and white in the cheek pieces, Bally Disco. Miss Fairfax is 5 wide round the turn at this stage, as they make their progress steadily round the bend. Just behind the front wave, we have the grey So Said I, Ballymagroti Boy. Ayopi Kalonge now just restrained back behind the leaders. Come On Gruff has lost a little bit of ground in these early stages, and Snipe is the back marker as they head up the home straight. Some respite with the wind at their backs as they head on towards flight number 3. Jericho-Ville on the inside. Biowave Go, Radden Top, Bally Disco. And on the right-hand side, Miss Fairfax as they reach the first up the home straight. This will be flight number 3. On the outside, Miss Fairfax probably rose just in front there. They all negotiated safely. Opie Collonge settled in midfield now. Ballymcgruity Boy in that little cluster as well. Little one up the home straight is also safely negotiated. Shariko Veal, Bally Disco still racing keenly. Biowave Go, and towards the outside, Miss Fairfax will be the front quartet to arrive at the next flight of hurdles, which again, they all measure perfectly well. So no alarms up the home straight. The lead is still being contested by Miss Fairfax on the stand side in the yellow sleeves. Shariko Veal closer to the inside running rail. Iupi Collonge has moved back to be front rank with Bally Disco. Then behind these we have on the outside, Come On Gruff, another who's remade places. Ballymcgruity Boy, Radden Top, who's dropped into that second wave, as does Biowave Go. The grey So Said I and Snipe, but they're pretty tightly clustered. A line of 4 followed by a line of 5 means there's 9 of them covered by only about 2 or 3 lengths, and Snipe's only a further length away as they make their way right-handed on this long run now between flights 5 and 6. Miss Fairfax has stayed towards the outer. By contrast, Shariko Veal has hugged the rail. The 2 of them continue to show the way. Bally Disco and Iupi Collonge. Iupi Collonge now moves through to nearly share the lead. Bally Disco now a length off that group in company with Ballymcgruity Boy. And on the outside, Come On Gruff. Behind these, we have Radden Top, So Said I, Biowave Go, and Snipe. Making the turn, and out in the lead, it is Shariko Veal, with Iupi Collonge moved right through now to share the lead. Miss Fairfax is in 3rd. 4th place for So Said I, another who has improved on the inside round that bend. But they're interchanging places because they're so tightly grouped. The pale colours of Ballymcgruity Boy. Bally Disco's white cap, Come On Gruff towards the outside, then Radden Top. And they run down towards the next flight of hurdles. So as they'll climb uphill shortly, it is the yellow sleeve jacket of Miss Fairfax in company with Ballymcgruity Boy who's come through now. Opie Collonge is still there as well. They remain tightly grouped. On the inside, Shariko Veal is still on the premises with So Said I, Bally Disco, then Radden Top. Biowave Go just shaken up after jumping that. Short run to the next. Ballymcgruity Boy and Iupi Collonge are now 2 new leaders. And Shariko Veal is being ridden towards the inside to hold the position. Towards the outside, Miss Fairfax, the grey So Said I, Bally Disco's white cap, black and white towards the outside of Radden Top. Couple of lengths then to Come On Gruff, who's rather yo-yoed through the field, then Biowave Go, as Ballymcgruity Boy led them over that, and Snipe remains the back marker, but well in touch. So continuing their climb then, and then towards the last on the far side, Ballymcgruity Boy with Iupi Collonge in 2nd place. Miss Fairfax in 3rd, been joined by So Said I. Shariko Veal is being ridden along in that next group. A Biowave Go is another who's come under pressure. Radden Top's hard at work as well. That was the last on the far side. It was 4 from the finish. Ballymcgruity Boy continuing to dispute the lead with Iupi Collonge. Miss Fairfax in 3rd. So Said I, the grey comes next. Bally Disco ridden along. Snipe is making ground from the back of the field as Shariko Veal has dropped right away, and likewise struggling is Biowave Go. So on the home turn, Iupi Collonge has a neck advantage over Ballymcgruity Boy. They are 3 lengths clear from So Said I, who disputes 3rd place with Miss Fairfax. They in turn are 2 lengths clear from Come On Gruff, a Bally Disco, Snipe, and then Radden Top as they make their way then up the home straight, tailing off now Biowave Go and Shariko Veal look as if they're pulling up. Iupi Collonge travelling strongly. Ballymcgruity Boy in 2nd. 3 lengths back to Miss Fairfax, then So Said I, and on the inside, Come On Gruff trying to stay on again. 3rd last, Iupi Collonge is over in the lead. Still Ballymcgruity Boy is there pitching. They've gone 5 to 6 lengths clear now from Miss Fairfax. This is 2 from the finish. Iupi Collonge with still Ballymcgruity Boy, and in 3rd place, Come On Gruff is also staying on now on the left-hand side in the blue and pink colours, 7 lengths down. Ballymcgruity Boy is a tough and persistent challenger to Iupi Collonge, who hasn't sealed this yet. Iupi Collonge by about half a length. Still Ballymcgruity Boy digging in on the far side. They remain clear. Iupi Collonge, still Ballymcgruity Boy will not lie down. Iupi Collonge, Ballymcgruity Boy forcing his head up very close. Iupi Collonge possibly from Ballymcgruity Boy, who's really stuck to the task and got close. It'll be a photo. Come On Gruff was 3rd, I think, Ed and Miss Fairfax. Judge may be needed there as well.
That is very tight between Iupi Collonge and Ballymcgruity Boy. Heads up, heads down, and it is Paul Nicholls' horse, I think, who's got his head in front there, number 4. I'm gutted for Nigel Hawksrun if that is the case, Bally McGrody boy, because he does everything right. I think it's just an unexposed horse that's probably beaten him, Lizzie.
Yeah, and a lovely ride from Tom Buckley as well, because coming into the home straight, he was kind of off the bridle, poking him, going round the bend, and all of a sudden he just picked him up again. You know, it's a long way home in test. This was really testing, wasn't it? And the two of them have done really well to stay going as well as they have, because you could see that it was a bit of a struggle through this ground. It was, you know, a lovely ride from Tom Buckley, just to pick him back up again, let him get some
Number 4,
air into
IUP
his
Cologne.
lungs. But unfortunately, as you say, you know, he's just been beaten again. A real shame, but IUP Cologne is interesting, has potential. The step up and trip has opened a couple of options for him. He travelled really well, he jumped nicely, and he stuck his head out, hasn't he?
He was game, the winner.
Really game.
We'll give him that. Ben Bromley clearly gets on well with his horse. He's now 3 from 3. And as you mentioned, probably got a bit too far behind the last time. Ben wasn't going to do that today. He was very prominent. And from race 3 onwards, the races have developed. Those in the front end have really kicked on clear.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always maintained it's the easiest way to ride a race, because you can make it the kind of race that you want it to be. You know, it makes life easier for yourself, and we see Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden using those tactics a huge amount.
Harry this season in
even
particular,
more so this
he's been
season.
nicking ground at the start,
Yeah.
and they've not seen much. We're just watching the head-on here. Whether came across slightly did our winner IOP Cologne, although it might have been even more Tom Buckley coming back across the other way, so probably 6 and 1, half dozen of the other. The winner, owned by the Million of Mine partnership, they tend to sell their horses on at the end of a campaign. He's been kept busy. The handicap's probably going to put him up a bit for this success, but I think he's probably got a bit more improvement in him.
Yeah, I mean, judging by the way that I thought that this was a relatively strong race, and actually it's completely fallen apart, hasn't it? Now, whether that means that he loves the mud and wants to stamp in the test, or whether, you know, he's actually just slightly run them into the ground, well, remains to be seen. You've got a good yardstick in the runner-up here, a horse who